We're gonna give some flowers early in this episode,
Got
man.
to.
Okay.
Let's just throw a bomb for Hit Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's throw it hot. Just salute this man. You know what I'm saying? First of all, man, the love that he has for creating music.
Yeah.
Working with Nipsey, you know what I'm saying, and bringing out some of the best in Nipsey, in my opinion. Working with Big Sean and other guys, man. But this Nas record, even before I get to Nas, man, you know, Hit Boy was from Atlanta, was found by Polo the Don, got on good music with Kanye. Kanye kind of didn't really work with him too well. So, you know, Hit Boy had to go out there on his own. Nas basically didn't have to mess with Hit Boy. You know what I'm saying? Like Nas would stamp this dude and say, yo, he's official. And to me, you got 3 classic albums, man, out of this dude, man. So before we get to the album, I want to give some flowers to Hit Boy real quick. But we got to talk about that magic, man. That album is just...
Go in, Iceberg. Go in.
I mean, no. I want y'all to rap, man. Just what's your thoughts, man, on just this album, man, and just, you know, just what it represents for hip hop, not just Nas's, catalog.
Yeah, I mean, to me, what it represents for hip hop is the essence of the MC and the producer. You know, those two is what comes together, along with your DJ. Yeah. Those 3 components come together. I mean, that's what makes that magic. That's why this album is legendary to me. I'm not saying it's Nas's best work, not saying that at all, but sometimes timing is everything. You know what I'm saying? I think Nas is showing that you can work with producers that's not from your era and they can bring out the best in you. Because I feel like since Nas has been with Hit Boy, I'm talking like they married, but it's a marriage that works. So pause on that. But this marriage, man, this union that came together has just been making some classic albums, and really Hit Boy needed this too, because Hit Boy is now showing that what he can do. Like when you can work with a legend like Nas, come on, son.
And like, also bring out the best or some of the best out of him, man. Or get him to rekindle that flame, man.
Exactly. Rekindle that flame. That's something that Kanye couldn't do when Kanye had that collaboration project. It's not to say that album was whack. I'm not saying that at all. Kanye definitely shined in some spots on that. But this is one of those things where you can feel the chemistry through the vocals, through even Nas is saying it on the beat. He's like, man, he shot now Hit Boy. How many times has Nas shouted out a producer besides like Premier? You know what I'm saying?
That's it. That's it.
Nas is dropping this dude flowers on the tracks, you know, and you can tell Nas is having fun. So again, when you have that essence coming together, that clay, these dudes is building clay. You know what I'm saying? And yo, it's hard body, man. The magic is just, I mean, for folks who haven't heard it yet, you need to. It's what, like 10, 11 tracks, all solid. It's a real quick listen, so you don't have to like rack your brain listening. And the classic Nas, he's dropping some stories, some tales, some urban legends. You know what I'm saying? If you want to call it that he's dropping in there. Nas always secretly does it. He's always putting you in a time and a place, or he's recapping an event that happened back in time that was synonymous in hip hop. He's always doing that in tracks too, man. But this album, I'm gonna let Bebo go in, but this album, yo, it's hard, man. But salute to Hit Boy. I'm proud.
I'm proud
not only of him, but I'm just proud of this project. I'm proud that you are bringing a Mount Rushmore cat back to the forefront and giving him Grammy worthy stuff. I mean, because basically King's Disease got a Grammy. I mean, that's Hit Boy. That's Hit Boy's work. So Nas ain't got a Grammy before until he got with Hit Boy.
Hey, Bebo, the floor is yours, man. Talk about the album, and then I got one more question for y'all on top of that. Just going on the album.
I'll go in on the album, but let me let Jay Camp finish cooking. He sounded like he had a little bit.
Oh no, my fault, Jay.
No, I was basically done, but I mean, you know, just to kind of touch on the album, just real quick, because I was giving my flowers.
No, go ahead, man.
But man, that Meet Joe Black, that Ugly, and that Woo for Children. I mean, I think I played that Ugly. I think I ran that back, man. Like That's probably just the one joint on the album I ran back multiple
times. Was you expecting
times.
this much heat though?
No, I mean when I first. Now I will say that album cover is so classic and so throwback. You know what I'm saying? I did kind of expect some heat just off the album cover.
You put that Young Nas on there, you know what
time it is. Young Nas on there. I said, okay, they unleashing the beast. You know what I'm saying for this one, man. But yo, that ugly though. That's like my numero uno favorite joint on there. That I mean, Hit Boy killed that beat. He killed that sample. He killed that sample on there. You know that was a dope one. And only Nas can bless the way that he did it. You know what I'm saying? The story he told. I mean, that's a joint for like Nas or Raekwon. Like only Nas or Ray would be able to bless something.
What was for me being an like old producer back in the day, you can tell these are handcrafted beats too.
These are handcrafted. Like Hit Boy had these in the chamber, waiting for his opportunity to work with a dude like Nas. He was in because he was in his other bag. Because we've heard Hit Boy produce other artists.
Yeah, I've heard of he got the Cali swag, you know what I'm saying? He got the Nipsey swag, you know.
Yeah, the Nipsey swag, but that swag is different. He got with Nas, he was like, hold on, I've been working on this for a minute. He dusted off a different caliber MPC. He went to a different number, like the 5,000 joint. He went to that. He dusted off that and was like, look, man, I've been cooking up these beats. He probably already had 13 joints just already done. He probably put like a couple finishing touches on there when he heard 4 bars from Nas. He's like, let me get my post-production bag now. I need to throw this extra in here. But go ahead, Bebo.
No, man, you cooked very well in regards to
hold on. First of all, let me just drop a bomb for Jay Kemp, man. Like beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Jay. I mean, go ahead, Bebo P.
No, you good. Like you said, man, shout out to Jay Camp for that analysis of this album. This album was a roll through, and it still is a roll through, even after a couple weeks of it being released.
Mm-hmm.
This is steak right here, man. This is steak. This ain't hot though.
This is definitely Ruth Chris steak.
And Ruth Chris, bro.
What's probably got Jay-Z mad right now behind closed doors.
Wait on the Jay-Z. Wait on the Jay-Z. That's what I'm saying. Wait on the album.
Okay.
I got another question. Don't go
all right.
Don't go there yet.
What I meant to say was what makes this project so beautiful is the fact that Nas and Hit Boy, they bring the best out of each other in these modern times.
Yes.
As you guys just mentioned with Nas, or actually as Nas mentioned, like even on the album, he mentioned that he's in rare form.
Yeah.
And so forth. And with Hit Boy, I personally haven't heard Hit Boy produce beats like this, with this in this like fashion. And when I say
he's in the Alchemist space. He's in that.
Yeah, he's kind of in that. Yeah, he's finally able to expose more of the other side of his talents because he's done it before. With cats like Big Sean and so forth. So I'm not sleeping on that.
Though, this many beats, though,
right? And what he's done is you can tell he's studied
the drum tracks.
I mean, he's studied like your Jay Dillas. He's been studying your DJ Premiers. He's been studying cats on the other side of rap, which is hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
He's Black Milk.
And he's being with Nas is like, okay, now I finally get the chance to really just show, hey, I could really like get down on the boom bap spectrum in addition to the the wavy stuff and the grill and all that. But with Nas, I mean, he had like modern day quotables, and Nas, he had some quotables on here. I mean, what was it? Why would I ever rock a chain again when I what was it? Why would I ever have to cop a chain again when the QB chain birthed most of the chains in the game?
Yeah.
I mean, just stuff like that. Even just something that like isn't as bold, like the whole clique is each other's counselors. Stuff like that. Or when he's repping the East Coast, when he said, I put the new in New York, I'm home. All of the watches stay on the Eastern time zone. That's kind of like him, like being like, oh shoot, he's owning the East, and him saying that he's the New York J Prince.
Man, you took the words out of my mouth. Right. He's a New York J Prince.
Right.
Come on, man. I got so many kids in the game. It's like a gender revealing. Come on, man.
That bar right there was stupid. And I don't know if it made you feel like this, Bebo, when you heard it, but it almost gave me the feeling like this is like way too easy for Nas.
At this point,
because basically when he said he's in rare form, it's almost like he sent a message like, man, let me just go ahead and just cook everybody right here. And I think that's what the bar, when he was talking about, I got so many kids in the game, it's a gender revealing. I think that's why he basically had to go ahead and just come with that, man. But Nas was at peace, man. I felt like
he's at peace. He's in his groove.
He's in the groove, man.
I mean, but when have you seen somebody like a Usain Bolt kind of person somewhat win all this stuff, retire, and then come back and win two more? I think gold joints.
To answer that,
it's crazy.
That's the true hallmark of a producer, Iceberg. Whenever a producer, like they used to say back then about DJ Premier, that his beats were so dope that you could put a whack rapper on there and make him sound decent. Now, regardless of how you feel about that, it's like, hey, producers don't just make beats. They're willing to do what it takes, whatever the situation calls for, to bring the best out of you and that person. It's just like a teacher when he or she's teaching a class. Yeah, you're teaching the students, but the teacher also gets fed as well. The MC rocking the stage. Yeah, you're feeding the crowd, but the MC or the artist or the musicians, they get feedback from the energy that the audience exerts, and that's the marriage here between a Nas and a Hit Boy.
Absolutely,
in these modern times, can tell too. That's beautiful, and that's what the hallmark of a producer.
That's the hallmark of a producer, and you can tell that this dude went back and listened to old Nas.
Yeah,
he listened to that legendary Nas, and kind of crafted that to make sure that he gives the people that Nas.
That's right. I mean,
he did his homework.
Oh yeah, he definitely did his homework. I mean, the joint that he had with DJ Premier and A$AP Rocky, those sound just like DJ Premier drums. That's not an accident.
Hey, dude, this dude Hit Boys, man, like the dudes are still living. Large Professor still living. Pete Rock still living. He could have went to them. This dude actually made some like records, but then put his own swag on top of that, boom back and the samples.
Yeah. But he did by having DJ Premier at least do the scratches. He didn't go by what a certain artist by saying, Just Blaze is my DJ Premier. You know who said that? For no,
stop. Where's LB at?
Right. And that's what makes his production so unique, is that he gives you that classic, Chocolate Boy Wonder sound. He gives you that classic Primo. Right. He gives you his swag. He throws his element of new age.
Right.
Just swaggy.
Let's be clear. This dude produced the entire album.
Yes.
He produced
it can give you speechless, but then hit you with the wave guys.
Yeah. And this is just an appetizer until King's Disease 3.
Yep.
Appetizer. A roll through being an appetizer.
This thing. This is the question I gotta ask y'all, man. We gonna get out of this, man. Okay. And first of all, we can talk about this for another 30 minutes. Is Nas the king of hip hop, man? With this album, and not saying this album is the best album ever, but just ain't nobody, let's be clear. Ain't nobody waiting. Jay-Z just dropped 2 tracks on that soundtrack, that Black Panther soundtrack. Ain't nobody talking about them bars.
True.
Yeah, when Nas comes out, it stops the industry. I don't care what nobody. It stopped. Like he can drop at midnight and stop the industry. People were waiting for this record. You know what I'm saying? Even like he shouted out the new dudes, man, in New York, man. You know what I'm saying? The
drill.
The drill guys. You know what I'm saying? He's repping the young dudes, man.
Well, he did a mix of both the new cats and the cats who passed away, from ODBs to Max B hasn't passed away.
But so my question, and I'm a Jay-Z dude. I wear the Yankee hat 25% because of Jay-Z.
Shout out.
But is Nas the king, and is he the king of hip hop, man?
Go ahead, J Camp. I'm
talking about living and dead. Is he the king of hip hop?
Living and dead?
Living and dead.
Go ahead, J Camp.
I already know my answer. I already know my answer.
This is an unbelievable question.
I already know my answer, J Camp.
It is. I almost look at it like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, man. Like Kareem may not have been the illest hooper when he was done. Like his last 2-3 years, he may not have been the illest hooper, but he was so effective with that hook shot, no one can stop it. I look at Nas just like that, man. So I would say he's definitely the king. He's the official king of hip hop because he's doing joints with A$AP Rocky. Now, in the minds of a lot of people, A$AP, well, the younger ones, A$AP is more relevant than Nas. But the fact that A$AP is on there with this dude and Nas is killing. Nas is making himself. He's putting himself on a level playing field in a young man's game. That's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar space. You know what I'm saying? That's what them cats do. Like right now, Nas got his bars is that hook shot. He can't be denied. And now that he's got a Hit Boy to help bring that out of him, to me, it reminds me of Brian in year 19 dropping 43 and 14.
Okay.
That's what it reminds me. It's a young man's game. It's a young man's sport. Once you get a certain age, it is. I mean, we just got to admit it's a young man's sport. Fact. But Nas is still cooking in a young man's sport because if most of these cats are being honest of who their favorite like rapper is, I bet they'll tell Nas to his face that he's their favorite. I bet a lot of them.
Hey, Kanye said it. Kanye said on Drink Champs.
Because Nas my favorite rapper. Because it's Nas. What do you mean? It's Nas.
Cole
Nas
has said
Nas.
It's been a lot of cats who said.
Mm-hmm. Do you think this is why Cole had a joint writing letter stuff right now, J Camp? Because we didn't have you on the last episode, so I got to ask you that too. Do you think this is why Jay said what he said on the Clubhouse situation?
Yeah, because timing is everything. I think it definitely has an element to do with why Jay said that. Because again, it's timing. Everybody's buzzing about this album because it goes hard, you know. And again, Nas is okay with embracing these new cats, and these new cats respect that. Yep. Nobody expected to hear Nas and A$AP on the joint, and then he did on the last one. He had the song with Fabio and them too,
and it was banging too.
And it was banging.
Shout out to 504.
So Nas is showing, yo, I can live in this young man sport.
Yep.
Jay-Z ain't doing no joints with cats like that. He's
brunch
not.
On a Sunday was crazy on that last record too.
Yeah, it was crazy. And again,
with that blast.
It ain't no disrespect to Jay at all, because we know with Jay, we know his career.
Jay, come on, man. Jay's a legend, man. He's Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's a lot of people say he's the MJ of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? They say he's that dude where he can win three titles. He can go back to back, retire for a couple of years, then come back to back. I mean, people think that's Jay. So we giving Jay his flowers, but we know that was a sneak diss when
he solidified being the king, man. You know, not just on this album, but like I said, he's relevant now. But then, like, he's been through so much, man, in his career. And let's be clear, Jay was trying to get his attention when he first got into the game. He was writing records. He was writing records for Foxy, bigging up Nas, so Nas would basically holler at him. You know what I'm saying?
And he's still trying to get his attention when he grew up.
Yeah. And every time Nas drops, Jay does something to try to put his name in the conversation. Who's the best MC? Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think like how if so you know how LBJ, Lyndon B. Johnson, was the 36th president between, what was it, basically in the 60s, from 63 to 69, I think, right? But Black America's president was Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. Yeah. So I'm not saying Jay-Z is LBJ. I will say that if I were to make a comparison, just at least a loose one, that's at least the first thing that comes to my mind. Yeah, Lyndon B. Johnson was the certified quote unquote president, but Black America's president was the Reverend Dr. MLK. So in this case, Jay-Z, you know, and shout out to Jay, you know, we said on the last episode of Fresh Out, you know, where it was just Iceberg and I, you know, we gave him his flowers before we went in on that commentary. We gave him his flowers and his, you know, credit, which is well deserved. At the same time, I do think that he is above Jay. I'm not going to go as far to say that he's the king of hip hop, dead and or alive. I will say that once a versus is done between the two, and if Nas defeats Jay in that, that's definitely going to serve as the solidified moment to show, okay, this dude destroyed him on Ether, and in modern times he destroyed him. If that happens, he beat him on versus. So that's what at least my take is on that situation.
That's what we
I will place, and I've always had Nas above Jay personally.
Yeah, me too.
But you know, I think, and even today, like he's like ID, you just mentioned, you know, in so many words, he's more relevant. You know, his bars are more relevant. Some of the things and the instances that he's bringing to people. J Camp, I believe you mentioned the fact that, you know, or maybe both of y'all mentioned that he's still working with the DJ Premier, but he's still, you know, shouting out to the drill cats and working with the 504s, working with the blasts and that ilk, you know, today's artists, and doing it well, doing so very well. So I'm not going to just jump up and say, yeah, Nas is the absolute king, dead or alive. I mean, because I think that might be kind of a stretch.
I mean, that's strong. It's a strong question.
And shout out to whatever the opinion is, you know, across the board, you know, throughout the audience. But that's, you know,
a lot of people that's going to say Jay.
Is Nas over Jay right now? I think so. I mean, I think he's been over. Well, I will say, you know, Nas has had some dry spells, you know, in the industry.
Oh, absolutely.
He fell back.
But everybody
nowadays, oh yeah, he's
never had great albums before his, like, you know, obviously the first one, second one, no doubt, but then obviously he had some few little weirdo albums.
He had some duds. He had some duds.
Yeah, he had some duds like that Nostradamus and Boo.
Yeah.
Shorty, what's your price? But to me,
he's in his groove now.
He's never had a hit boy. It's almost like LeBron never having a championship coach.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And now you got a championship coach that knows how to pull out all those things out of you. Pause. And it's just been beautiful music. But then he's got to go back to the talent. Nas basically has all these stories he's getting out, man. He's talking about things, that whole Death Row East that he talked about. He would have never talked about that on somebody else's records, man.
He's telling like legit. I mean, he's putting bows on stories.
Yeah,
I almost look at it like
shout out to Nightmare too.
Shout out to Nightmare.
Shout out to Nightmare.
Nightmare will feel what I'm about to say. But it's like
we gotta get Nightmare here to talk this talk too. You know,
we do.
Absolutely.
We gotta get like I said, talk.
Nightmare will fill this gym. But it's like the cats who picked up the pieces of Star Wars after George Lucas, and they put their bow. They put their bow on the film. I'm not talking about the newest ones. I'm talking about more so.
I was about to say.
No. That's why I said let me finish I'm talking about like the cats that was when George Lucas gave them their blessing, like with the Mandalorian, the stuff that kind of wraps up, like some of the like, you know, how you get
solidifies the greatness.
It fills in the gaps of the stories.
It fills in the gaps of the story, and it's all the questions we've been asking for years.
Yeah.
So now you got somebody like Nas who's putting a bow on all this stuff, like the Death Row East, because I had no clue for the longest that DMX was about to be on Death Row, and that whole backstory. I mean, I heard about it, but I didn't know the backstory, and Nas kind of brought all that to the forefront, man.
And that's what's so important about. Yeah, that's what's so vital and important about like certain cats like a Nas, not even just Nas himself, but folks of that ilk is. And he even alluded to it at least a few times on this Magic album is, hey, a lot of y'all ain't telling the truth out there about what's been going on. And, you know, hey, somebody's got to say it, you know, because the narrative's being spun in a different way, you know, Bizarro style. And hey, go ahead, Iceberg.
Lil C's ain't been telling the truth, by the way. And D-Rock too. Y'all need to get right. Holla, Gene Deal, shout out to Gene, man. Gene's out here telling the truth. Shout out to Carcino. Carcino's been holding it down on the truth. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Carcino.
You know what I mean? Carcino. We gotta get Carcino here one time with the wraparound glasses. You know, we gotta get Carcino here. That's my guy, Chi-Town all day. But Nas is the king, man. This is Nas is the king.
Dead and or alive?
Nas is the king, man. Like any time in hip hop, he's been there. And he survived. You know what I'm saying? He's like the Jon Snow of hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Jon Snow. Wow.
He's the Jon Snow of hip hop, man. Wow. Like he's a king. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong, Jay he's like the Lannister dude. You know what I'm saying? He's like Jamie. But he walk around with that no hand joint. You know what I'm saying?
With that golden hand.
And you did a lot. And Jay did a lot of foul things that don't make him. You know, you the king, but you kind of king by default. Ooh. Tupac died. Biggie died. They threw it in your hands. You cool with Leor. Now you running Def Jam. You take everybody's budget. Like you play chess to become king. Nas was the king just off of talent.
And we did talk about that in one of the earlier Fresh Outs too. Like kind of like the steps he took to get to where he's at now. You know, I didn't knock him for it.
I'm a Jay-Z fan, man. This is coming from a Jay-Z fan.
I didn't knock him for it at all. But I think when we start to talk about your full resume, you know what I'm saying? When we started to put you on that Mount Rushmore, those type of things do knock you down a peg. Even though I'm not knocking you for doing it, shout out, salute to you. But when we talking about, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, I feel like those issues drop you down a peg.
Hey, it's a Merry New Year 2022. So I'm gonna go ahead and probably get labeled as the tinfoil dude already first day. So he said something that in that Magic album that reminds me of what you guys are talking about now. And the bar goes, it was written, chopping up competition, palms itching, Bohemian Grove couldn't get Nas to visit. Oops, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Want to make sure there was nobody with goat heads or anything, or anything like that. But I say that because, look, Nas did it, or at least from what we know and from what he said, he did it with that. He did it in a more organic fashion compared to, you know, your more status quo, elitist, whatever you want to call cats. You know what I'm saying?
And that's exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah, and that's what made me say, you know, say that those bars. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that's very important. And this Magic album was kind of like a King, well, in a different production style. I think it was more King's Disease than the King's Disease 2, just based off of the topics that he mentioned in the bars. I mean, he was just on some real stuff.
This thing, Bebo, man, to come back in.
Go ahead. Okay.
In my opinion, the King Disease represents Jay-Z. You got to the top and you got lazy, bro. Then you didn't bring nobody. Then all the people that you brought with you killed them on your way up. You didn't. Who did you set up, man? You can talk about the Bad Boy situation where Diddy basically chopped off everybody's head to get to the top. Now he's sitting up there like chilling, and now you're dating Young Miami and all this young dumb stuff that you're doing. You're not doing nothing for no hip hop because you went to the Grove. You went to the Grove too. But the other thing with Jay is Jay got lazy too. You get Beyonce, which is a cheat code. And you get Beyonce code. Now you can go straight through MTV, go straight to all the executives and do all that. Hey man, let's be clear. Nas was
but salute to you too, because I will say Jay did survive Lemonade.
He did, but this thing, that was a diss album, though, man. Because hey, man, she's gonna come out, the women gonna love it. Then I can come out with my stuff and respond to it. But at the end of the day,
it was a diss album, though. I mean,
it was, but at the end of the day, but that's controversy. It makes money, especially with black folks.
No, I agree. I'm not disagreeing.
I mean, his career really. I mean, like it didn't hurt it at all, in my opinion.
But that's what I'm saying. That's part of the King's Disease. Like you willing to let your shorty drop a diss album? You co-signed it. You put the stamp on there.
He's gonna make some bread.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So those are the type of things that we got to knock you down a peg, bro. Like you got too many rough edges. I won't pause. I need the artists that got the smooth edges. They don't have too many rough edges.
Well, and this is the thing though. Remember there was a couple years ago, man, when he came out with the one album with the, you know, where he got divorced with the green wedding dress. Remember, she was trying to get him for like $45,000 a month on the child support. He didn't have money like that. Remember, everybody's like, "Oh, Nas is broke." You know what I'm saying? And so then he comes back. He does great investments with his business. With you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
With the Queensbridge investments. Then he comes out with this new album with Hit Boy. I mean, he's almost considered a billionaire now. And like a couple years ago, he was almost broke.
Yeah.
Well, it just goes, man.
He didn't have the Beyonce cheat code.
He got it out the mud, bro.
He did get it out the mud. Yeah, absolutely.
I remember him saying at the Source Awards when all that stuff happened with Suge Knight and all that. He said he had to borrow some money.
Yeah,
because he didn't have money for no outfit.
That's true. Yep. He sure did.
There was no head chopping.
Nas had to learn the game, man. He didn't come in as no CEO with Biggs and Dame. Dame, let's be clear, Dame did a lot of thinking for Jay. Jay just had to rap. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah.
But Nas never had that until he got with Steve Stout. But Steve Stout's still funny style. Shout out to Steve, but you know what it is, man. You know,
shout
out
to the firm too. I want to shout out, you know, to the firm. You know, AZ, you know, Foxy, Cormega, and Nature. You know, I know those two have been kind of interchangeable throughout, you know, the 90s or whatever, 2000, but you know, within the firm structure. But yeah, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to them.
Well, like I said, man, to me, man, I'm a Jay-Z fan, man. Nas is the king, man. Just from him talking about Stretch didn't even set up Tupac, and he was in the car with Stretch the night he died.
And we can co-sign what Iceberg is saying because we've had many conversations about Jay and Nas throughout the decades. Iceberg truly is a Jay. He's a Jay guy.
Fan.
Through and through.
Yep. That NY hat that you see up here.
That's
go
Jay.
Ahead, go ahead and tell him, Iceberg. I just wanted to start it off.
Jay's the reason why I wear it's on the logo, man. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why I rock the logo. You know what I'm saying? The Yankee boy. That's because of Jay, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's be clear.
And that's why I want to be clear to the people to let them know that you truly are that Jay dude, and you ain't just like boo-booing on Jay. I mean, it's one of those things where again with Fresh Out.
Hey man, this is what you come here squad. For the real, dude. For real
most dangerous squad. We not gonna sugarcoat nothing. Ain't no cookie. Ain't no cookie boys through here.
Not at all. That's why we're the new rap city in the world's most dangerous.
Hey man, come to the IG. You understand what we talking about, man. Like I said, Fresh Out Show. Again, like, what's your thoughts, man? Hit the comment section, man. I know we gotta get Nightmare and some other cats to talk about this because this is a deep conversation.